Hello and welcome to Chat and Learn English, the podcast for learners who want to improve their speaking and listening skills. I'm your host, Avery.
And I'm Melody. It's great to be with you all today.
Today, we have a really fun topic. We're going to talk about travel. More specifically, we're going to share some of our funniest travel moments.
I love this topic. I think everyone who travels has at least one story where something went a little bit wrong, but it turned out to be hilarious later.
Exactly. And sharing stories is one of the best ways to practice a new language. It helps you organize your thoughts and use new vocabulary in a natural way.
And listening to stories is great practice for your comprehension skills. So this is going to be a fun and useful episode.
Before we jump into our stories, let's learn some key vocabulary that will help you understand everything. We'll call this our travel toolbox.
I like that. Okay, what's the first word in our toolbox?
Let's start with misunderstanding. A misunderstanding is a situation where you fail to understand someone or something correctly.
Right. For example, maybe you think a meeting is at 2 p.m., but it's really at 3 p.m. That's a misunderstanding. It happens a lot with language.
Definitely. A similar phrase is lost in translation. This is when words or ideas are not translated correctly from one language to another, and the meaning is changed or becomes funny.
Ah, yes, that's a classic travel problem. It can lead to some very awkward moments. Awkward is our next word. It describes a feeling of being embarrassed or uncomfortable.
That silence when you tell a joke and nobody laughs, that's an awkward moment.
Exactly. But hopefully these awkward travel moments later become hilarious. Hilarious just means extremely funny.
Right. Not just funny, but very, very funny. One last word, navigate. To navigate means to find your way to a place, often using a map.
A very important skill for any traveler. Okay, so we have misunderstanding, lost in translation, awkward, hilarious, and navigate. Let's see if we can use these in our stories.
Sounds good. Melody, why don't you start? Share a funny travel story with us.
Okay, I'd love to. This story takes place in Italy a few years ago. I was in a beautiful little town, and I don't speak much Italian, but I was really trying to use the few words I knew.
That's the best way to do it. Just give it a try.
Exactly. So I went to a small local cafe. It was very charming with old wooden tables. I wanted to order a coffee with milk. In English, we call this a latte.
Right, so you thought latte means milk in Italian. This should be easy.
That's what I thought. So I went to the counter, smiled confidently, and said, "Un latte per favore." 1 milk, please.
Oh, I think I see where this is going.
The waiter nodded, and a minute later, he came to my table with a tall, cold glass of plain milk. Just milk.
Not the warm, comforting coffee you were expecting.
Not at all. I was so confused. I just stared at the glass of milk. The waiter was looking at me, waiting for me to be happy with my order. It was such an awkward moment.
A total misunderstanding.
Completely. I didn't know what to do. I tried to explain using hand gestures, pretending to drink a tiny hot cup.
Ah, the universal language of mime.
It worked. He suddenly understood. He smiled and said, "Ah, cafe latte." He took the milk away and brought me back what I actually wanted. We both had a good laugh about it.
That's a fantastic story, a perfect example of something being lost in translation. You weren't wrong, but you weren't quite right either.
Exactly. It taught me a valuable lesson. Words can have different meanings in different contexts and cultures. Now it's a hilarious story I tell all the time.
So the tip for our listeners is if you want a coffee with milk in Italy, ask for a cafe latte.
Please do. Don't just order a glass of milk like I did. Okay, Avery, it's your turn. Beat that.
All right, my story is about my attempt to navigate a big city. It happened when I was in Tokyo, Japan.
Tokyo is enormous. It's easy to get lost there.
It really is. A friend had recommended a tiny, famous ramen restaurant. He said it was the best ramen in the world. So, of course, I had to find it.
A worthy goal for any traveler. Food adventure.
Totally. I had the address, so I put it into the map app on my phone and started walking. I was following the directions very carefully. After about 20 minutes, the little voice on the phone said, "You have arrived."
Okay, and was the restaurant there?
No! I was standing in the middle of a quiet street with houses and small apartment buildings. There were no shops, no restaurants, nothing. I checked the address again. It was correct.
Ugh, that's so frustrating, especially when you're hungry.
Extremely. I walked up and down the street a few times. I felt so lost. Finally, I decided I had to ask someone for help. I saw an older Japanese woman tending to the flowers in her garden.
Good idea. Locals always know.
So I walked up to her, bowed, and showed her the name and address of the restaurant on my phone. She looked at my phone, then she looked at me, then she looked behind me, and she just started laughing.
She laughed? Was she laughing at your poor navigating skills?
Probably. She pointed to the apartment building I had been standing in front of for the last 10 minutes. And there, on the second floor, was a very small sign, only in Japanese characters, for the ramen shop.
No way! You were right there the whole time? That is hilarious.
I had arrived. I just didn't know it. The entrance was a tiny staircase next to the mailboxes for the apartments. I felt so foolish, but the woman's kind laugh made it less awkward. I thanked her and went up to have my ramen.
And was it worth it? Was the ramen really the best in the world?
It was absolutely incredible, totally worth getting lost for. My story shows that sometimes you have to look in unexpected places, and it never hurts to ask for help.
That's such a great travel lesson. And it also shows how kind people can be to travelers who are a little bit lost.
Absolutely. So now we want to turn it over to you, our listeners. We have shared our stories, and now we challenge you to think about yours.
What is a funny travel moment that happened to you? Did you have a misunderstanding? Did you try to navigate a city and get lost?
Your challenge is to tell that story in English. You can write it down, tell it to a friend, or even record yourself speaking on your phone. Try to use the words from our travel toolbox: misunderstanding, lost in translation, awkward, hilarious, and navigate.
It's great practice. Don't worry about making mistakes. As our stories show, mistakes are often what make the experience memorable.
Well said, Melody. That is all the time we have for today. We hope you enjoyed our funny travel stories and feel inspired to share your own.
Remember, every conversation is a new adventure. Keep practicing.
Join us next time on Chat and Learn English. Until then, thanks for listening.
Why not like and subscribe to our channel? Also, check out the free worksheet. Link in the description. Goodbye, everyone.